All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down a single, pretty challenging sentence about relationships. Now, it might sting a little at first, but stick with me because it could completely change how you look at things.
So here is. This is the statement at the heart of our whole discussion today. It's direct, it's provocative, and yeah, let's be honest, it kind of hurts to read. But what if we flip that? What if, instead of being an accusation, it's actually a way to take back your own power? Let's get into it.
So to really get what that quote is saying, we've got to talk about the word it's pushing back against: toxic. It's become our go-to, our default explanation anytime a relationship blows up.
And you can see why, right? Calling someone toxic takes all this messy, complicated pain and just boils it down into one simple, easy-to-blame word. It's a shortcut to making sense of the hurt.
It's a good question to ask, isn't it? I mean, human beings are complicated, relationships are messy, so why do we jump to this one specific all-or-nothing label so fast? Well, it turns out the answer is all about psychological comfort.
And this is exactly why that label is so tempting. It's like a shield, you know? It gives you a simple story for your pain, it points a finger at the bad guy, and, this is the big one, it lets us off the hook. It makes us the victim, and in that moment of pain, that can feel really, really validating.
Okay, but the whole idea we're exploring here is about moving past that shield. So let's get into this next section and see what happens when we make a fundamental shift in where we put our focus.
This lays out the shift perfectly. You see on the left, you've got external blame. The problem is them. They're the issue. But on the right, the spotlight turns inward. It's not about their behavior anymore. It's about our awareness of their behavior and what we decided to do or not do about it.
Now, this is super important. This is not about making excuses for people who hurt you. Not at all. It's about realizing that the only actions you ever truly have control over are your own. And that is where your real power is.
So that brings us right to the second, and you could argue the most critical part of that original quote, the red flags. You know, the warning signs that so often we choose to look right past.
So let's just be crystal clear on what we're talking about. A red flag is just information. Is that gut feeling, that weird comment, that action that just makes you go, It's a stop sign telling you to pay attention before you go any further.
And that's the million-dollar question, right? If our gut is screaming at us, if the signs are pretty darn clear, what is it inside of us that just decides to put on blinders and keep walking straight ahead? Because it's not an accident. It's an active choice.
Well, it usually happens in a few ways. First, we rationalize. We make excuses for them. Then we idealize. We fall in love with the idea of who they could be, not who they actually are. And finally, we just straight up dismiss the warning sign, pretending it's no big deal, until suddenly it's a very big deal.
So how do we stop this cycle? It all starts by changing what accountability means to us. It's not about taking all the blame, it's about taking back control. It's really about empowerment.
And this right here is the whole point. The moment you stop focusing on what to call them and start focusing on understanding your own choices, the entire game changes. You're no longer just a character in someone else's story. You're the author of your own.
And the payoff for this shift is huge. You actually start to trust your gut again. You make choices from a place of clarity, not just wishful thinking. You stop repeating the same painful patterns, and you build this incredible resilience for whatever life throws at you next.
So, we come all the way back to where we started. But this sentence hits a little different now, doesn't it? It's not just a harsh accusation anymore. It's a realization. The key to a better future isn't trying to change other people. It's about choosing to see them clearly, right from the start.
So, the final question I'll leave you with is this one. Moving forward, in your life, in your relationships, what will you choose to see? The person you've imagined in your head, or the person who is standing right in front of you? The choice is, and always will be, yours.